This is the Check for Traps podcast, reviewing our second favourite rabbit-based female-led film of the decade.
Make it us feel like they do, so
Yeah.
that's probably,
I can cut it to pieces.
Cool.
For instance, we're already rolling now.
What? Well, we're here. I don't know, how long have you been recording? We're here to talk about Us.
That's right.
Jordan Peele, the husbando, the end-all husbandos, has made another film. A second damn polished film.
Yeah. Damn polished indeed. Damn polished as, for me, Get Out was damn polished, even though it didn't really touch me on a gut level as much as I think it did for other people. I thought it was very well put together, and I was super impressed that a man who I already had an insane amount of respect for, I cannot overstate how much respect I have for Key and Peele, because I love their sketch comedy. So yeah, I was very pleased for him to get that movie out. I thought it was interesting, and I'm glad it was very successful, even if though for me it wasn't quite as exciting as it was for other people.
I was really psyched for him to have a film. I think now that obviously he's got a second film and is going to have the Twilight Zone, and going to have... It's not even lightning striking twice, because he's just good at films. That's fine.
Clearly. Weirdly so, because I mean, you know, comedy...
What a seamless transfer from comedy to horror.
Specifically, if you read a lot about Key and Peele, they came up through improv. So like their comedy is highly improvised, and obviously that this translates well into why it's so unique. But you wouldn't think that there'd be a lot of transferable skills from improv comedy into like quite deft screenwriting.
No, I agree, but I think again, with them you can tell it's improv. But I think that's like with some of the best things, like with Lonely Island, we've always said that you can tell that it probably originated with them fucking about.
Banter.
Yeah. And I can see it with horror. I think maybe he really knows what to do with anticipation. Because obviously comedy is a lot about anticipation, especially their comedy is all about
expectation.
What you think's going to happen and what might not happen. And again, horror is obviously about that. And I think he's good at playing on our expectations. In Get Out especially.
Yeah. Probably
Probably more so than Us, which is weird considering Us is more of a horror. He has a great idea of what people will feel when they're watching his product.
I actually completely understand what you mean. Well, I was thinking that, improv and then into improv comedy into horror were quite disparate. I think it's more because when you talk about how, like with Lonely Island, it starts with banter.
Yep.
Something can start with banter and develop into a sketch which has low commitment as far as time is concerned. Like 4 minutes. Like so that's why I thought maybe it was quite different. Yeah, a feature film. That's that. But at the same time, I'm quite compelled by what you've said.
No, I think he can feel. I think he can feel an audience out in a way that's really useful for films that have like a social commentary to them.
Yeah.
And will be incredibly good for Twilight Zone in a way that's probably more reminiscent to like improv sketches, because obviously those only need to be 45 minutes long, if that.
That's right.
What a great, not even second win, because it's not like the first one ended, but what just a great continuation of a career.
Definitely.
How great though, I've got to see two horror, I'm making some quotation marks, films in the last 2-3 years that have made me think about them for a couple of days, and that doesn't happen much. Even the most exemplary horror movie we saw of last year, which was Hereditary, we just didn't talk about it after.
Yeah, we stepped out of the cinema, we did what we always do, we stood in front of the doors and we hashed out what we thought of the movie for a bit. And then I guess there were a couple of like piffly conversations later, but no, because since seeing Us last night, we came into work today and we were just storming through conversations with anyone who would listen.
Yeah, it was compelling. It was really compelling. I mean, I think we had slightly different opinions on it.
I think so.
It drew you in a lot more than it drew me in.
That's right.
And that's definitely not a bad thing. I mean, I would love to have experienced the same level of tension that I experienced in the first half of this film. But it worked. It deserves every ticket it sells. That's probably the best compliment I can give.
Because it's original.
It's reminiscent of an era of horror that I love.
This movie, I think it was interesting that you said about the first half into second half, and that's where kind of like disappointment is probably too strong a word, but a kind of shift in perspective occurred for you, because while the same thing happened for me, I think the difference between the two of us, it was less of a steep drop off.
I think mine was actually jarring at one point. I don't think I've told you the point at which it jars, but there was definitely.
Well, we'll get into spoiler territory later, but for me, it was obviously a point at the beginning where everything really starts to set in motion, where I was so scared, and like the important thing to kind of tag this with is I don't feel fear in movies. As a rule, I don't, but it's one of the reasons that even though I hate horror movies, I actually secretly love them, because when they do make me feel the way this movie made me feel, for a good 15-20 minutes right at the beginning, that's a feeling that I can never experience in a safe space in any other medium, and it reminds you of what the capabilities of art are. I mean, it's making me feel like I'm in mortal danger, experiencing like almost like metaphysical judgment.
But like just a profound sense of not even like unease, just actual panic. Again, within the first 15-20 minutes, there is... Well, no, the first 15-20 minutes are characterising the people. The second 15-20 minutes are just layer upon layer of terror.
Yep.
Like, in such a compelling way. And for that feeling alone, probably, even if after that you never feel it again, though I think you will in limited capacities, it's worth it. Because, yeah, you don't get that anywhere else.
Well, while it may have, again, fallen off slightly or to differing degrees for both of us at the end, the problem is I don't think that you ever really experience a full, like, philosophical terror in games as the way you do
because you're still in control.
Movie like this. Yeah, you are in control.
Yeah.
And I know there's, like, Silent Hill. No, I was tuned to an emotional level for an extended period of time during sort of like the first half of Us that I haven't felt in God knows how long. While it didn't reach that height again, it didn't slope off so badly that I ever stopped enjoying it. I was happy to keep throwing it lifelines, and while it's not as perfect as I would like it to be, or even while it's not perfect and it's not as great as I would like it to be, I'm still massively impressed with what he did. I'm still kind of baffled by his talent. This is his second film. I'm really interested to see where he's going to go with his third film, because people used to say about M. Night Shyamalan, you can like look up the old newspaper articles and Empire magazine film covers, people would be like, he's the next Spielberg, he's the next Hitchcock. People believed that off the strength of 2 movies. With him, people used to say that about him until I think around the time, maybe The Village. I think that was probably the last nail in the coffin. But I almost feel an impulse rising in myself to want to start saying this stuff about Jordan Peele. Even though these movies aren't perfect, they're so well done, they have such an incredible mass appeal, that I would love for him to be the new Hitchcock. Like, I would love for him to start creating movies that we're talking about with all sorts of people every time they drop, and there's almost like a mass panic about talking about them.
Yeah, but every 2 years, a new interesting project. Sometimes not successful, but always worth talking about.
Dialing back from my like hysteria, it is only movie number 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, this folly has happened before. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff.
Definitely. Should we get on to spoilers, or do you have anything to say before spoilers? If you have not seen this film, what is your message to the people?
I would recommend anyone go see it.
Yeah, even though I enjoyed it less than you, I would still say go see it. I think that irrespective of... Even if you feel exactly as I did, I don't regret seeing it for a second. I would be annoyed with myself if I had not seen it.
There you go. And
yeah,
now...
fuck it. So, spoilers!
Spoilers.
I'm going to flash out a big spoiler. There's a...
In the most rude way possible.
Be
now
warned.
You have to do a penis or something.
But you won't understand because you've not seen it, so they won't actually be spoilers. If you're like me, you'll hear some spoilers and then you'll forget them. And then you'll think they're original thoughts, which you don't want, so don't watch.
Damn, that was convoluted. We're doing spoilers now, which we don't really normally do in a formal way, just because there are things that are wrong with this movie. We want to discuss why they're wrong. So, Aaron, do you want to lead with the negative train?
So,
you fucking naysayer.
Then my negative train starts at, the station. Negative station. Okay. And negative station is that this film, I think, and you can disagree with me if you want, and though you can't.
He's holding a knife.
Is that I think this film invites you to take it as real. It invites you that these are actual people and that there is a logic to this world and that logic carries a certain weight to it. And that's great. I love films that do that. But the problem with that is it carries a certain responsibility, and that responsibility is that your world has to be consistent thereafter.
Makes sense.
And if you're...
Can't just be a nightmare.
Yeah. If you're trying to communicate a lot of meaning,
yeah.
but you're also trying to be quite vague and leave it quite interpretive, then I think you leave a lot of open ends, and I think at some point, to carry that metaphor further, your open threads unravel, and you're left with less than you thought you would be. It invites me to believe that it's more than a dream and that it has realistic logic, and then, in my opinion, spends the latter half, if not the latter, tearing apart the believability of the entire story in a way that I was, if not completely jarred out, though I was completely jarred out at points, very removed from it for the latter half.
I actually broadly agree with your assessment of the film, especially into, I'm going to say, both half and last third apply, because if we say that the halfway point where it starts to get a bit, I don't know, not that it stops being enjoyable, but it goes in a direction that maybe you didn't expect and maybe you don't think is the best way for it to go, is when they go to the Handmaid's Tale lady's house with her family. And
the Taylor house.
Yeah,
He's
and
Josh
then
Taylor.
They show that everyone then has a double, and it was at that point where suddenly the doubles were there, but they were being plot convenient evil rather than consistently just like, I'm trying to kill you.
They ceased being characters and started being devices. I agree. They were... They kill... So there's a second family. There's a second family of rich, entitled, blonde white people who supposedly are quite good friends with our... They die. They die. The first doppelganger reveal is...
They die hard.
Yeah, they die. They all die hard. But after they're dead, and again, like unlike the family that we've been introduced to, us, they die instantly. So whereas the family that's menacing our protagonist is interested in like drawing out their punishment almost, this family just dies instantly. But then thereafter they lose all agency basically, like to the point of which they just start cartwheeling around the house.
Yeah. And when they finish their cartwheel, which is this is a weird thing for us to have both really focused in on, but when a murderous like fucking doppelganger cartwheels towards someone with the clear intention of killing them, what that doppelganger shouldn't do is then stop to kind of sneer, right before stabbing them in the neck with scissors. But that's exactly what they did.
But we say that's like a minor thing, but no, that's a huge thing because the idea of someone cartwheeling towards you is terrifying. Yeah. And that's fine. Like that sort of like Harlequin-esque nightmare. But yeah, for them to just like grimace, for you to know that they've already not killed someone who's in that house. Yeah. And again, it's probably the movie's fault for building up such incredible tension earlier, but that tension was squandered in that instance because I was like, oh wait, no, these are the defeatable bad guys.
It was too unforgiving before that, because when it was just the first family of doppelgangers, it wasn't that they were immediately trying to kill them. Because that's not what they did.
But that's almost what made it worse, was they weren't trying to kill them. They could have and they didn't.
They could have and they did. That's so they it's clear that they want to talk, well, at least in retrospect, because you don't know what's going on beat to beat, but like they want to toy with them. But there's at no point when they're toying with them that you don't think the reason that they want to toy with them is because, as you say, they could fucking kill them at any time. Yeah. That's what's fun and scary about it. Both of us said actually after this is, even though the lessening of the tension as the movie continued with regards to the actions of the antagonists was lamentable, at the same time, I can't actually imagine a movie having maintained the level of tension and fear, and escalating fear as well, that first confrontation with the first doppelganger family was having, because everything that happened, when they were stood on the driveway, I was scared. When they broke formation, I was terrified. When they started speaking, I was literally pissing myself. And then it just got worse and worse. And like I said, I'm not familiar with this feeling in cinemas. It doesn't happen to me ever.
I remember you spoke yesterday, or was it earlier today? I can't even remember, about shooting it from the beginning. And I think maybe that's the fault of the film. Like maybe you do need that slow ratcheting up of tension. Because it does go from everything's fine to oh fuck really quickly. And that is good in its own way. But there was no way to continue from that, and I agree with you. There is no way you could sustain that for an hour without it becoming boring, and so they had to go in a different direction. But I think all that means to me is that they should have approached it from a different angle.
I agree. They didn't have to torpedo it.
No,
with a joke.
And it worked, but it was I don't want to use a crude metaphor. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it.
Okay. and for my own personal files, would you mind saying what the crude metaphor was?
You've blown your load up the wall.
Well, that's staying in, and I'll tell you why. Because it's like that Django Unchained thing that we always come back to, where the movie has two endings.
It is, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Fucking shot up all of your tension.
Yeah. And if the worst thing has already happened, then there's only downhill to go from there, and that is unfortunate. I can see why he wanted to do it, and again, like, that was what so engaged me about the first part, because I was like, shit, I've never seen this. I've never seen things go south so quickly. Never. I've never seen people be so completely outmatched by themselves. That was, and again, like, that was like a real interesting finesse on the doppelganger point. I would love to theorize about how you'd make it more compelling. Again, I think the only way you could do it was have it be more explicit. So you have the blonde family, but the blonde family is intent on bringing them to the other family. Yeah. Like, you link in the motives, you make it so they're doing the same sort of like cat and mouse outmatched routine. Because then at least there's a different family doing the same thing. Yep. And you can still have some of them die. You can still have those small victories in between, because there's more of them now. you can't ever have it so much, and you also know that they are slowly, if they don't do anything or if they continue to do like this, they'll be delivered to that family quickly.
Yeah.
And that's not what happens. Not really. They
No,
just kill them all.
I'm completely game with this.
I mean, what they kill? Actually, that's fine. I want to bring up that they kill Josh, and I thought something really interesting was about to happen, and then it didn't. And so they kill Josh, and then the wife, Mrs. Handmaid's Tale, is there, and she's like, "No, oh God," and then she's crying. She's really upset.
Yeah.
But then she starts laughing instead, and I was like, "Oh no, she doesn't care. She's just a fucking psychopath." Great. And I would have quite liked it if she'd been genuinely sad about the death of her supposed husband, or at least her, surrogate parallel husband.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. That would have been great. That would have been very humanising. But no, they had to be crazy. So that pissed me off.
Yeah. I told you what I really didn't like. I say really didn't like. Again, it's hard to talk about this in spoiler territory because it's like, I really like this movie.
Yeah.
And I was basically always having a decent time. Yeah, without mincing words, that when the first dad was taken away by his doppelganger dad, his defeat of that guy being the first defeat of a doppelganger, I told you, for me, happened too quickly. Because he seemed to be really...
Too quickly and too easily. He was so outmatched.
He was formidable. He was even massive. And they've been waiting for this for a very long time. They have a lot of fucking vengeance in their heart. He kind of just pushed him in a river, and then... He came back and I was like, good, you should have that Jason Voorhees thing where it's like, you can't fucking beat me that easily. But then all he did was bash the engine and chop him to pieces. And I would have preferred the real dad, as opposed to the doppelganger dad, was a casualty of the film at that point and just died.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would have made it. I think that would have really...
would have helped the dramatic stakes at the end as well.
I was about to say the opposite. It would have ratcheted up the tension if he'd been dead. Yeah. I think... and again, that's probably one of the issues, is that none of the core four actually die. Everyone that's necessary just lives, and not only lives, but is after that initial scene never put in any real danger. And that's an issue because they wander off a lot. And when they were wandering off a lot, I didn't feel like like in Halloween or like in Friday the 13th, when someone wanders off alone, you're like, shit, don't go alone. That's a bad idea. But when she wanders off to into the woods, or when she wanders off down the tunnel, I was never under any illusion that she would be anything other than fine.
Yeah, it was only later though. This is what's annoying. Because when she wandered off into the woods to give some kind of fucking weird eulogy to dead doppelganger, again it was like, you're in danger, you're in the woods, and again walking down the stairs, as you say. But when the first half of the movie was happening, you probably saw me. Were we right next to each other?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, so I was so tapped into the idea that the characters were in danger that the camera would pan to a corner, and at one point, I shit you not, and I hate it when fucking sycophantic film reviewers say stuff like this, I literally was trying to look around the corner for them. Yeah, and I was directing them. I was like, no, do this, don't do that. That's perfect. That's exactly how you want to feel. So it's he knew how to do it, but then I guess... And again, there was, even if it didn't all work, there was a lot going on in this movie, so I guess it was difficult to keep something like that consistent. Maybe he was focusing on other things. I think
he was, and I think that's something I want to get into later, is that he was focusing on many different things in this.
Should we get into
I would say almost too many things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Okay, so I think this film is loaded with symbolism and symbology, and it's loaded with references to itself. And I think maybe he got a little too bogged down in that. I like them. I like them. I like the little things, there's an ambulance that appears. There's a helicopter that appears. There's the Jeremiah quote 1111.
Yeah. All the 111 stuff.
There's all the Hands Across America stuff. There's there's loads of repeating motifs.
Scissors.
But yeah,
two blades joined by a bolt.
There's so much like that. That shouldn't take priority over the engaging story or the scene-to-scene tension, and I think it might have done. I think maybe if he'd been looking at the rest of it more than that, if I'd had to pick either of those two, I'd have made a compelling horror story in the second half rather than just a compelling symbology lesson.
Well, it's like how I think that we can evidence this fairly well by saying that obviously everyone's had a lot to say about what the 1111 and just the overarching symbolism in the movie.
The easy symbolism, the symbolism that's literally in your face as it walks across.
Yes, but to buttress your point about him becoming too bogged down in it, is we actually spent a significant amount of time this morning trying to work out why the theme of the movie was I Got 5 on it.
Yeah.
Because we felt like it would work, and then it turned out, having put a weird amount of thought into it, that it is consistent with the film's theme, and I think that maybe you're right.
You feel like you're constantly throwing this film a lifeline, like you said earlier, you were trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, and it requires thought, but not thought in a good way, Not as in like I didn't feel like I was like solving a puzzle. I felt like I was stitching together a torn piece of fabric.
Yeah.
And it wasn't rewarding. It felt almost reactionary, and that's not how it should go.
So based on what you're saying, which I do basically agree with, I would say that the discovery that I got 5 on it is thematically sound because there's 2 guys in loonies. That's 1-1.
Yep.
And they're both doing the same thing, which is putting 5 on it. Is consistent with the Twin Towers, the Golden Gate Bridge, the 11/11 stuff. It's like you have twins and they behave in the same way.
Yep.
Okay.
The
so
1-1s.
So that was kind of like briefly like, oh, so that's why I put it in there. And then I'm like, okay, that's not even the most obvious piece of symbolism you could put in something. That required thought. And the problem is I would rather you trade it off this I got 5 on it crap for a sustaining of the horror that I felt earlier in the film. That's what I would have rather he spent his time focusing on.
It trades convolution for a narrative.
Yeah, what a strange economy.
Yeah, it's and it doesn't overly work. But equally, I mean, like I said, like that is part of what makes it so engaging. And I guess we're just going to be little babies and said we'd rather both. You build one on top of the other. You have your compelling film, and then if you've got the time and the resources and the talent, you layer on all the symbology you want. But you can't have all your symbology and not have a sound foundation for a film, because otherwise I'll be there thinking, man, there's a lot of shit going on in this film, but I just don't care.
I mean, disregarding the actual quality of the horror in it, this is what separated it from your fucking average Platinum Dunes home invasion horror movie like The Strangers or something, is that it had aspirations.
Huge aspirations as well, and laudable. It's worth seeing, and it's worth seeing so you can admire these flaws, because ultimately it was trying to be something more.
So there's always a point, like early in the year, where I see one movie where I think I'm in. With this, I was like, I'm in 2019. These are the movies that just did not exist last year, and this is why I'm glad to be seeing new movies and what's coming out now. So if it's like 3 Billboards last year or something like that.
Yeah, or Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
Exactly, and this was... We've seen good movies this year, but this one I was
not seen new movies this year.
There you go, yeah, and I was like, this is my fucking 2019 movie, and it's a horror movie,
And we get good horror movies now. How weird.
It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, anything negative that I have to say about it is superseded by just how I was really cheering it on while it was happening. And when it stumbled, I was like, you know what, man, just get back up and see if we can get to the end, because... Again, bringing up that fucking thing that always happens to me, I did not ever have that fucking 20-minute lull in this movie where I'm just fucking bored.
No, me neither. Though I did, again, I had almost like the opposite. Like, I was like you, I was cheering it on, I was helping it up every time it fell over. But I think it fell over one too many times, and I was just quite tired by the end of it, of doing its work for it. At some point, it stops being Salvador Dali and becomes a cowboy builder, and you're like, this house is just structurally flawed.
One more time, yeah. Stops being Salvador Dali, becomes cowboy builder. Yeah, perfect. I love it. The thing is when she approached her doppelganger, or rather the doppelganger approached the real version of her at the blackboard. At the blackboard, and she went into her Goldfinger monologuing about the story. The thing is walking up to it, I felt like I wanted it. Or rather, I didn't want it in that way, but I wanted to know a bit more.
You wanted to see behind the curtain, but then once you have, and once it's just pulled back, you're like, oh, is that it?
I would have been, that's the thing, I would have been happy. It wasn't that I realised I didn't want to see behind the curtain, but if all I saw behind the curtain was there was a government experiment, which, as you say, plants it in the real, and then it goes on to say it doesn't really explain some of the weird, like, logical intricacies of it. I was like, right, I would have just preferred you didn't. I would have just, that scene just, she says like, why is this happening? It's like, why the fuck do you deserve to know? And then they have a fucking scissor fight. That would have been, because he said himself, he was like, this occurs in a universe, like all of my stories occur in a universe, which is good, and I'm not going to tell you everything that happens in them. But in this, he elaborated on it in such a way that didn't even satisfy my interest in what was really going on, and then just made me regretful that he didn't tell me less.
Yeah, agreed.
Less would have been more.
You should never want to know less. I think that's the thing. Like, if it was so
opposite of Prometheus.
Yeah, I think that as soon as they went underground, and considering underground is where you really wanted to be, it just became quite disappointing.
It's such a cool environment as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking scaring the shit out of me.
Corridor after corridor. The introduction thing where it says about all the tunnels was really dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was put in there.
It was so dumb that, like, I forgot about it straight after it happened, and then only remembered it when she finally went down there, and I was like, oh yeah. No.
Miles and miles of tunnel.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I guess so.
Could
Thanks.
have put it in a line of dialogue, or
Yeah.
even just not at all. Like, if Jordan Peele didn't... Again, less is more. If Jordan Peele reckoned that it didn't need to be mentioned in the dialogue and there was nowhere to grab it from the cut, then maybe just fucking allow it, man.
Yeah, exactly. Just allow it. The flashback underground bits were really good. I liked it when they were like when that person was supposedly like feeding her boyfriend a French fry at the fair, and then it's like she's jamming rabbit in his mouth.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
That was Jesus.
Like that again, like little bits like that are worth price of admission alone. But they could never quite explain the why that made it possible.
The more they explained about what had been happening, the more thematically compromised I thought the movie was. And the thing, so when I told you that when they first sat down and they were like, you know, when you had your first child, they cut the baby out of you. When I had it, you know, down in the tunnels is the implication.
Yep.
I just had to struggle, and like when you played with toys at Christmas, I played with toys that were so sharp they cut my hands and they were cold. And like, so stuff like that at the time, it seemed quite metaphorical. What at that time was like the implicit kind of like class warfare aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
However, as soon as they kind of codified that they were literally like underneath them and there was a government experiment, that muddied the waters a bit for me.
Yeah, I'd almost preferred it to be some sort of mystical shadow realm where it just so happens that in order to enjoy life to its fullest, you need this suffering being with you.
Yeah, I would prefer
because that's more
to be
thematically consistent than it's a government experiment. They were controlling them by these people being in a tunnel that was never monitored or seemingly impacted upon. It all seems to run on autopilot.
Why didn't they just shoot them all?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just gas the whole tunnel? It's an enclosed environment.
I mean, this wasn't so much compromised by that ending, but just generally, as you said, the great terror of doppelganger stories is that there is someone out there who has as much claim to your whole life as you do, and actually has kind of like the tragedy of having not even experienced it up to that point, so they almost want to kind of assume your role.
They want it more. They've thought
it.
about it more.
Yeah,
You've just been enjoying your life like a fucking idiot, and they've been there wanting your life.
In maybe 50%, like, props to the movie for that, because that's what's great about doppelgangers. But again, maybe slightly compromised by the ending, but not so much as the whole class thing. But yeah, I mean, the nightmarish quality of it just wasn't lost on me. And Lupita Nyong'o, her performance, it was fucking incredible. It was so terrifying. Like, she scared me when she was standing there silently, and then she started speaking, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, when is this going to end?
And you never felt like it was anything other than genuine. Like, if other people would try to put on a voice like that, you'd be like, oh, this is someone doing some bad acting. But
yeah.
You were like, no, this is someone with some pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of them.
Hate.
All of them moved and emoted in a way that made them 100% believable as both characters, and that's really impressive.
Their movements were still felt, again, like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I fucking hate the genre. I hate this genre. Like, I might not have ever told you this before, but the way I really, really, really got into movies, like, I always watched movies, but there was James Rolfe's Cinemassacre Monster Madness, where for every day in October, he made a short video about what he felt was the progression through film history through the lens of exclusively horror movies.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It was fucking brilliant. It was fucking Nosferatu through to Blair Witch Project.
Never heard of that.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. And like, but yeah, like I really do, in a primordial way, respect the genre, but it's just people need to fucking try harder. And you know, he tried fucking hard here. Fuck yeah, man.
He raised the bar.
He did.
Even if sometimes he stumbled on the uptake.
Much like with Alan Moore, though, by the way.
Oh yeah, hugely.
It's not gonna change anything. Like, because it's just gonna become the Jordan Peele bar.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
one else
That's
is
why
gonna try and meet it.
The people will imitate it, and poorly.
Yeah.
That will be what happens. And yeah, I don't really even want to discredit it. I've got plenty of more inconsistencies to talk about, but I feel like it will only cheapen it. Just go watch it. You'll see them, and if you don't, then you'll have a good time.
Definitely.
I can. Despite the fact I've spent 30 minutes hating on it, I can only say go see it. So what the hell does that say about it?
Yeah, give them your money, because this is the thing, where it's good, it's just so
give us
good.
a higher quality of horror moving forward.
That's right.
That's all I want.
And
he will, I hope.
Yeah.
With the appropriate support and ideas.
I'd love to see the next movie, if that's the case, that occurs.
Yeah, I'd love
in the world where the Join Hands for America happened.
I'd love the Us verse. That'd be great. A much better version than the 90s Us universe.
Oh god.
It's coming back.
Mall rats.
It's coming back.
Fuck's sake, just Kevin. I'm not saying die, but
dangerously close.
Stop.
You've got enough money from selling MeUndies to retire now, Kevin.
He's got a weed store now.
Does he?
He's got everything he needs.
Him and Willie Nelson.
Yes.
What a fucking universe. Go watch a comedy man make a horror film.
Yeah. Go see Us. It was fucking dynamite.
On to the next.
On to the next one.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe or Alec will beat us.
Yep.
And buy a t-shirt when we decide to make them.
As always, that's correct. I'm just going to cover a black t-shirt in black marker and insist that it's covered in a really good design.
Yeah. The Thriller logo.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ho ho!